Hello everyone, I just want to share my latest journal with you, and this is a lovely soft cover fabric journal, and I'll just take the ribbon off. With this journal I decided to just make a very soft flexible cover, so I've just used the fabric, some fusible fleece and some seeded calico. Because sometimes I put a piece of cardstock in between to sort of firm it up a little bit, but I really like the way this has come out. This is some fabric that I picked up from a local charity shop. I've done a little bit of stitching, done a zigzag stitch, and I've also just then done a random stitch, a little bit of a different pattern there. I don't know if you can see that all the way round, and the edges have been cut with pinking shears. On the sides I've just added some tabs and some lace, some fabric, and this is some of the ephemera packs that I bought from Chris. So thank you, Chris. I'm loving using these all these fabrics. So we'll have a look inside. The journal measures 8 by 5, and this will be listed in my Etsy. I used a couple of digital printables. One of them is from Johanna Clough, and she is LittleBindy on Etsy, and you may have seen, because she's fairly well known on YouTube, she made these little cards with a little quilted, that she quilted, or they had a sort of a bit like, they looked a bit like a quilted cards, and they were little pieces of fabric and paper. She did actually do a tutorial on that, so if I think of it I'll link that down below. But she then printed them, scanned them rather, and made them into printables. So I'll just show you, I've got a few more here. Some of them I've printed out on some white textured card, which is that one, which does give it a little bit more of a textured effect. Some of them I've just printed out onto white card, which are like that. That's another textured one. And I just went round the edges with some pinking shears or special scissors, fancy scissors. So, and then in this one, this is also from a printable from Decor Wall Art, and I've just printed that onto some card, and that's a little piece of a time card. This is a fabric pocket, and I've just backed that onto some cardstock, so you could actually put something in the front as well, and that's been stitched. This is a sort of like a country life type of theme, because the other printable that I almost forgot to mention is from Mrscogscrafts, and they are journal cards. I think they're called A Country Life, which you'll see as we go through. So I've done another little collage here. This is a bit more of the fabric that Chris sent me, and this piece. This is some lace that I received from Renee, who is GT Designs on Etsy, and she sent me a beautiful ephemera pack, which I'm in the process of making a journal, which I'm going to show that with all the things that she sent me, but I've used a little bit of that here. And then this is just a piece of that I've cut from a book, a wildflower book, which I've stitched around, and it has a very slightly sort of quilted look about it. So this is a botanical book page. I've recycled an envelope here. This is a piece of lace that Renee sent me. That's another card in there, and that's been tea dyed, and we just put some washi tape on there. It's all tea dyed paper. And this is one of the cards from Mrscogscrafts. So guest check. just made into a flip up with a little piece of lace. This is one of the cards from LittleBindy, and I've just made that into a pocket, a little piece of lace. That's another card. There's a couple more here. This is made from a paper bag that I've cut down into some pages, and it had some sort of nice folds on it. So I've stitched that and made it into a pocket. So that's a really nice brown paper. I've got a big flip out page here, and this is another piece from Mrscogscrafts. I'm also going to make like a little long pocket, which I didn't get round to doing, which so this sort of like a bookmark that you can fit into the pocket. Then this is a page from a wildflower book. There's another tab there. This is a page that I've cut out from another wildflower book that I've stitched round to make a pocket. And in here we've got another image from Mrscogscrafts. And this is just some little pieces of paper that are left over that I've made into a little booklet. It's an index card. This is from a book, I think it's called the Shell Country book, and it's a book all about how this, well in fact this one is how bridges were first started, how they were first made. There's another bit about how forests were first made, and it's just generally a book about everything to do with sort of country life, really, how a village was started. So I've left that blank so that, because it's really interesting to read. Now we have another little pocket here with a couple more journal cards. This is a book, this is from a book called, I can't remember the name of it actually. It's from a country crafts book, and it's sort of old-fashioned country crafts. So there it's a little piece about arranging dried flowers. And I think these are made from corn. I think they used to be called corn dollies years ago. Then we've got a little fabric flip. This is some tea-dyed parchment paper. That's a flip out. It's another pocket here with a little bit of a collage. Just a couple of little pieces of ephemera. That's the other side of that book. Spinning and dyeing wool. Another little pocket here. I've got a little butterfly, and another image from Mrscogscrafts. That's another page from that book. This is a piece about parks, how that they were started. Another image from Mrscogscrafts. That's the other side of the wildflower book. And then here we've got an envelope. I had some envelopes that I had sitting in a box, and they were, I don't know if you perhaps, anybody who buys cards at Christmas, sometimes if you make these small, if you buy small Christmas cards, you get left with these tiny envelopes, and I came across quite a few of them in one of my boxes, so I've just inked that up, and I've just done a little collage again on the front, just put a little piece of tea-dyed paper there to write something on there. And this just has just a spare piece of paper and a couple more of the quilted cards. There's another card from Mrscogscrafts. We have another pocket here. Just trimmed that with a little piece of lace, another card. We have a little pocket here. I've just left that open at the side. That's all been sewn. Oh, and I forgot to say that I did leave the cotton threads quite long on this one, so they can be trimmed off if you don't like them. These were bigger journaling cards that came in the kit. This is the other side of the recycled envelope, which had a nice little window in it. So I've used one of Mrs. Cogg's images. I've just put that inside there. That's a bit tight, that is. And then at the back here, this is the last page. I have a lovely old vintage postcard, which is has a postage stamp on it, and I think these were all from 1909. So it's actually just a birthday postcard, and they're quite delicate actually, because they have some sort of like a cellophane type of, it's not cellophane, but some sort of plastic coating on them. Another quilted card and a journal card, and just a tiny little tag with a bit of trim. And then that's the back. You've just got the nice soft cover at the back. So there we go, that's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon with another video. Bye.